What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is a bit of a weird one. Because, yeah, for majority of the game, it was pretty frustrating to watch. And then once the first goal went in, it was just kind of easier for us. And I think a lot of that comes down to the way Newcastle were set up to play. It kind of seems like they were just happy to take a point. It seemed like they were very happy to just sit back, take a lot of pressure, and then maybe hit us on the counter, because they got some pacey players, and we just sort of we played into that. Basically, we let them play how they wanted to play because we made it easy to defend against us. So all they had to do was just stand there and wait, and our players stood there and waited, and that made it easy for him for most of the game. And then James put in the first goal, and suddenly we started playing with a little bit more energy and actually moving around and a little bit more desire to get on the ball and make stuff happen. And then the second goal came, and then the third goal came, and it was so much easier to play after the goal because players actually started playing and stopped standing and waiting. So it's kind of a tale of not even two halves because we didn't get the goal until later. Most of the second half was pretty much the same as the first half. But yeah, as far as Tuchel is concerned, not they didn't hurt us today, but the subs today and the lineup. I know he's hindered because we're missing some players. Kovacic is out, Mount is out. You're still missing Werner and Lukaku. Pulisic is still out. So I get the fact that he's kind of hindered in that respect. However, Noah Spilicueta again, and he's available today. And I don't know if he's been missing for the past two games, but he's not played, and he's not picked again today. And I have an issue with that because he brings this ethic, this work ethic to the field that most players don't give you. And I'm glad James played today because he got the goals. But I still want to have somebody on that right side that's going to be busting it for the team. And today we didn't have that. James's goals came from good moments, but throughout most of the game, it was frustrating to watch him because he's not really working hard for the team, and that's something Azpilicueta brings. And even if he's not on the right wing, if he's playing in the back three, he's busting it, getting the ball moving forward and pushing around the field because that's what he does. That's what he brings to the pitch. But we didn't use him today. And I felt the lack of energy. For most of the game, I felt the lack of energy. So don't understand that. The subs, again, I'm seeing Barkley on the field. And I get it. I get the fact that he doesn't really have a whole lot of attacking options because both strikers are injured. Pulisic is out. Mount is out. I get it. And yet I still don't get it. I still don't understand why he thinks Barkley is going to change something. And also, I don't get why we've loaned out Gallagher, why we've loaned out Broja. Gallagher, I don't know if Broja scored Southampton's only goal today, but Gallagher scored for Palace as they beat City 2-0. And so I'm just sitting here wondering, why is Barkley our backup option up top? Why is he our backup option whenever we've lost some players through injury and illness? Why is Barkley our backup? Why is Gallagher or Broja not our backup? Because our transfer team is stupid. But then also Loftus-Cheek on for Conte. Got no problem with Loftus-Cheek coming on, but for Conte, that's my issue. Again, it didn't hurt us today because Newcastle weren't really doing well whenever they got the ball forward. But why Conte? Oh, well, he's on a yellow card. It doesn't matter. Conte's smart enough not to get sent off. He knows how to not get a second yellow. In what universe does it make sense to take Conte off over Jorginho? None of them. And again, it didn't hurt us today. Loftus-Cheek came on and did well, but I just do not understand the decision to take Conte off at any point. Like, he's such a good player. If you were up 3-0, 4-0, then maybe it's a good idea to take him off. But taking him off in a game where it's 0-0 and the other team has the ability to counterattack on you with pace, doesn't make any sense to take him off, even if he's on a yellow, because he's good enough not to get booked a second time, and he's got enough pace and energy to make sure that they can't hurt you on the counter. So that was a weird decision, but like I said, didn't hurt us, so gonna go past that. And then the final one was just Saul for Hudson-Odoi, which Hudson-Odoi's kind of run his race, and he's given Saul a chance to see what can he do maybe further forward on the field. So I didn't mind the last one, but yeah, just some of these substitutions are kind of getting a little worrisome again because I'm seeing them and I'm thinking, what are they going to bring to the pitch? And most of them don't bring anything. So, and whether that's because he's got his hands tied because of who's available, or whether that's just he sees something in Barkley that nobody else in the entire world can see. I don't know, but I guess we'll see once players become available again. Is Barkley still going to be anywhere near the first team, or is this only because we've lost so many players because of injury? I hope it's the second option. Um, but anyways, on to individuals. Mendy obviously didn't have much to do today, and a couple times he was called upon, he did fine. So nothing really to report there. The back line, Silva was perfectly fine. Did his job well. Didn't really have any issues as far as them trying to really push forward and put numbers into the attack. But I mean, they've got a lot of pace and they've got the ability to hit you quickly on the counter. But Silva's smart enough to see that, read it early, and make sure it doesn't become anything too dangerous. So he's a good player to have in a situation like this. Rudiger, also a good player to have in a counterattack type of situation because he's got the speed to keep up with them. So he did fine. I do think in the final third is where he hurt us the most today, and that's just because that's where we played a lot of the game. But there were some moments where his rash decision making cost us because he's making a decision to try to really bolt a pass in that's way too much on it, or ball's coming down and he decides, oh, I can hit this on the half volley, and then skies it into row Z. So just a couple of moments like that were frustrating because we weren't scoring and we weren't creating good chances, and then Rudiger steps up and wastes a good chance, and that makes it a little extra frustrating on a day where we needed something else. And then Christensen, honestly, he's typically pretty good on the ball, typically solid, and today was not. I don't know what was going on, but he was making some bad passes. He was slow on the ball. He was kind of just a little too lackluster in his play, and it seemed like he wasn't really up to playing like his best. So I don't know what was going on with him, but he, out of the back line, he was the outlier for me today. So I don't. There's not really much outside of just the giveaways. I mean, defensively, it's not like he had a whole lot to do, and he did okay in those moments. But yeah, on the ball today is just, it's not normally something I expect from him to give the ball away constantly, but he was. So into the midfield, Conte, okay today. Not anything groundbreaking like Conte typically plays, but overall just that workhorse in the midfield. Something that did happen a lot today that I feel like hindered him a bit was, and I don't know why this was happening, but for some reason I guess Tuchel wanted James to come more inside, and that meant Conte stepped out wide, which I didn't really understand that because I feel like it should have been Ziyech. Ziyech and Hudson-Odoi, if the wing backs do come in, they should be the ones to swing out and be the wing players. But for some reason it was James was coming in and then Conte was pushed out wide. And I feel like that's why Conte today was not really involved. And I would say, maybe it was just in those moments Conte felt like he needed to be out there because James was coming in and that wasn't like a Tuchel thing. It was just a James being pulled out of position thing. But it clearly was a Tuchel thing because when Loftus-Cheek came on, James steps inside like the first few minutes of Loftus-Cheek being on the field. James comes in and Loftus-Cheek goes out. So I don't know why that was the instruction today, but it really hurt us in a lot of moments. And honestly, where James played his best was when he was outside and coming in, and then he got the 2 goals. So I don't understand what Tuchel was thinking in those moments. But yeah, I feel like it really hindered Conte because he's best when he's in the middle of the pitch and just making things happen, running around, being a little ball of energy. But when he's out wide, he can send in a decent cross every now and then, but that's not his game. And he's not going to be able to help you defensively out there either. So yeah, I don't know what that was about, but that was really dumb from Tuchel to have that going on. Jorginho, obviously, anytime you win a penalty, he's the one you want to step up. But overall, it's kind of hit and miss from him today, which is kind of his average. Some passes were great, some were just sloppy and easy giveaways. And his work rate was okay, nothing. Again, it was just a very average Jorginho game, which for most players would probably be kind of like frustrating, but for him, I expect it of him. Even though everybody says he's a fantastic player in Ballon d'Or, he's not. Like, this is your typical Jorginho performance. He was put in some good passes. He was putting in some poor passes, and sometimes defensively he's good, sometimes defensively he looks as slow as a slug. So yeah, that's just kind of Jorginho in a nutshell. So yeah, that's about it for him. Wingbacks, Chilwell, expected a bit more from him in the final third. I felt like he was kind of slow on the ball. He wasn't really. Typically, he makes stuff happen in the final third. He's really good about finding spaces, and on the ball he's quick and he can, take on a player and get past him and send in a cross. But today he seemed a little bit slower. Seemed like he was getting picked. The ball was getting picked off him a little too easily. So I was expecting a lot more from him, and he kind of hurt us today. And then James, like I said, great goals. Got on the ball fine on those moments, but for some reason was coming inside a lot. Don't know why Tuchel told him to do that, because I'm assuming that's what he was instructed to do. But yeah, a lot of moments again where I just feel like he's not working for the team. He's waiting for the game to come to him. He's standing on his heels, and the ball comes to him, and he's too slow because he's on his heels. And I don't like having a player like that. Even when he scores 2 goals, I don't want to spend most of the game frustrated with him because he's standing and he's watching and he's waiting. So yeah, I don't know. For a wingback especially, for a striker, if they play like that and then they score 2 goals, everybody thinks they're fantastic. But for a wingback, I expect them to be more mobile. I expect them to be more alive and aware of the play. So I don't know why James has kind of gotten into this rut of just being a body outside and waiting and waiting and waiting. But he has, and it's frustrating to watch a lot of the time. So, I mean, again, not taking anything away from the goals. Thought he took them well. And when he was in the attacking third coming from wide, I thought he looked good. It's just those moments in the build-up play where we need somebody to be that wide player and be an option. It feels like he's not providing himself. He's not giving a good option because he's just sort of out there and standing, or he's tucked inside and he's standing in there. So pretty frustrated for him. Front three, Hudson-Odoi for the most part was good today. A couple moments throughout the game where he kind of turned off. He was looking a little slower, looking like he wasn't really putting his all in. But there were several moments where he looked like our best player because he was energetic. He was wanting to be on the ball. He was making stuff happen. So overall, it was kind of a mixed bag for him. And in the second half, it kind of led to those moments where as Newcastle start to slow down a bit more, as they're starting to, the legs are starting to go, Hudson-Odoi does start to step up a little bit. And it's kind of a weird thing because, I've talked about before how he tends to fade in the second half. Well, these types of performances where he's not really busting it in the first half and then fading in the second, it's more like he's just kind of busting and fading at the same time. It's weird terminology, but that's basically how it is, though, is he has those moments where he steps up and he's fantastic and he's flying, and then 5 minutes to 10 minutes he'll just kind of be out there a little slow, not really wanting to be on the ball, and then 5 to 10 minutes again he's going. So it's a weird kind of up and down performance, but overall I thought he looked okay. Ziyech was both our best and worst player on the pitch in the first half. And what I mean by that is whenever we would give him the ball, he looked like our best player at times. And he also looked like our worst player at times. Because when he was on the ball, it was hard to know whether he was going to do something good or not. But also, he was the only one willing to do anything. Because a lot of our chances that were wasted came down to players that did not want to take a shot, players that were too scared to take a shot, and they'd rather slip it off to somebody else. Try to make it really intricate. Ball comes into Havertz, and he's only got 2 players near him, and he's got a player wide open on his left and a player wide open on his right, but instead he wants to take another touch, and now he's closed in by 5 players because all of them are there. And it's like they didn't want to try something clever. They wanted to try to be nice and neat and clean. Nobody wanted to have a shot from outside the box. They wanted to try to find a pass, make it nice and intricate play, passing it around, making it nice and neat. Ziyech is trying to do stuff. So that makes him look fantastic when he tries stuff because he's the one actually creating a chance. He's the one that took a shot from outside the box and it hits the post. He's the one that tried a crossfield ball that looked a dangerous cross. But that also means that there are moments where he's given the ball away because he's trying too much with it. His touch today was still pretty bad too, so there's that. So it's really weird when your most dangerous player at times is also one of your worst players at times. I don't know what's going on with Ziyech. I don't know why his touch has just completely gone away, but his first touch most of the time is terrible. But when he can keep the ball after that first touch, when his first touch doesn't give it away, he also looks like our most dangerous player. So I don't know. He's a weird he's in a weird scenario right now, and I don't know whether that's his training isn't really, he's not really training well, or if it's a mental thing. I expect more from him, as far as him keeping the ball, him keeping possession as well. But also I see the good stuff that he does from time to time, and I think that's what I want to see more of. It's difficult. Like I really don't know how to rate him in a game like this, because he had his good moments, but also he had so many bad moments too that kind of balanced it out. That he at times was great and at times was awful. That's about all I can say about him. So, yeah, I don't know. I want him to return. I want him to get back to his best, but right now he seems very not there. It's just frustrating at times. But anyways, Havertz today again, not a nine, not a striker. Still worked hard though. Gave it a good go, made some good runs. But yeah, it just at times seems like he's not really sure what to do. So there are times when he's just waiting in the middle for a cross, but he's marked by three guys, so that's not going to happen. And then sometimes he makes a good run, but now he's pulled all the way outside, so now he's not an option. And yeah, I mean, it seems like we don't know what to do when he's up front. It seems like we're not really sure how to play with him as the false nine. So, I mean, I don't think it's his fault that he's not playing well right now. I think it's just he's not good in that position. And we're not a good team when he's in that position. I know we beat Norwich last week 7-0, and we won 3-0 today, but we did not have it easy because we created a lot of our own problems because we're not really sure what to do when Havertz is there. We're not sure how to play. We seem to really want to pass, even though there's like 7 guys around. Sometimes it's better to just take a shot in those situations, hope for a deflection, hope for a corner, hope for keeper to spill it, something along those lines. And yet with Havertz in there, it's like, no, we'd rather pass. We'd rather try to pass through this wall of 7 guys because that'll work, right? I don't know. It's just I get frustrated sometimes because people want to talk about Havertz like he's a great number 9, like he can play that position, and I just watch him and all I can think is he doesn't look natural there. He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing half the time. His runs are right into the defender or right behind the defender where we can't get him the ball, or he's standing and waiting, and it's just not good enough. So, but with all that being said, like I said, benefit of the doubt, I think he is still working hard. I think he is still pushing himself. It's just that frustration of I wish we could figure out what to do when he's there. I wish we could figure out how to play in a situation where we can actually make things happen and utilize him better. But obviously we've still not really figured that out because it's, again, Norwich game aside, it's been difficult for us to find our way in. It's taken a lot of great opportunities today to get us to where we were. Subs-wise, Loftus-Cheek came on and, did well, pushed himself, got on the ball, kept possession well, made things happen. He's looking like a player, and I'm glad to see that he is taking this role and actually saying, yes, play me more because I want to play and I want to be out there and I want to push it. And he's doing well and continues to get better every game, continues to improve. So, yeah, I'm happy with him. The only really issue that I can foresee is just haven't seen much from him in the final third as far as the final pass or shooting or anything like that. But everything else around the pitch, he's doing fine, and that's good to see. Barkley, I think he assisted Havertz for the penalty, I think. I think it was his pass. But for the most part, he was just sort of out there. It was fairly easy by the point he came, after we got the 2 goals, and by the time he sort of grew into the game, it was a bit easier for him to play because Newcastle really didn't have a whole lot of energy after we put 2 in. So it was pretty easy for him to move and get on the ball and try to make things happen. But even then, it just doesn't feel like he has enough to really do much. So I just feel like I'm hoping, at least, I hope that he's out there just because we need the numbers, because we've lost a lot of players through injury or illness. I hope that's the case. And then Saul came on for like the last few minutes and just a chance for him to get some minutes in his legs. Obviously, it was not a difficult game, so it's not really going to help him with what he's having an issue with right now, which is playing under pressure. Like Newcastle, we're not going to do that to him today. So don't know if that was going to help him in that case, but just good to get him some match minutes and get him playing with everyone, because it seems like he's got potential and he's got ability, but we're just not really seeing it right now. It seems like he's still sort of acclimating to new climate, new league, new style of play. I hope that he gets to the point where we do want to bring him in. We do want to bring him in full time. But right now I'm watching him and all I can think is, he's just not really that good. He's not good enough for the Premier League. So all in all, though, it's a good game. Good results all around. Palace beating City and Brighton managing a tie against Liverpool. So good for us because we pick up points on basically our 2 rivals that we have for the season. The only downside is that Arsenal continues to build momentum, and I was really hoping to see them struggle this year, and they've managed to get some wins now. So that was sad, but we'll see what happens. But that's it for me. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all the good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.